Welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and I'm often asked about keeping my yellow tang and tangs in general. So for this week's video, I thought we'd talk about keeping a yellow tang. I bought my yellow tang Pinky 5 years ago for my 90-gallon tank. And when I brought him home, I had already dealt with egg once, and I wasn't gonna do it again. So the first thing I did was I quarantined my yellow tang for a month, and that has gotta be step one for successfully keeping a yellow tang or any tang, is to quarantine the fish. Yellow tangs and tangs in general are at a high risk of ick and marine velvet. So we need to put them in a quarantine tank, which can be as simple as a tank of water with an air stone in it that you're gonna do lots of water changes on and monitor the fish for parasites. Now, the biggest concern is ick and marine velvet. They're little parasites that are gonna feed on your fish, eat at its body and its flesh, and suck its blood, and eventually kill it. Now, ick, you can maybe get through. Marine velvet's a death sentence, and if you put marine velvet in your main display, you risk killing your entire tank. So that is why I quarantine. So step one for keeping any tang successfully, especially a yellow tang, is quarantine. It just has to get done. So I quarantined my yellow tang, and he went to the 90-gallon, and everything was fine. Everything was fine for 2 years until I outgrew the 90-gallon tank. So this is probably a good time to talk about tank size. Now, I bought my yellow tank for a 90-gallon tank, which is actually a really good sized tank for a yellow tank. Now, if you want to go a little smaller, you can. Maybe a 75. I've seen people put them in 60-gallon cubes, but really, I like that 4-foot tank length, and to be honest, I hate 55 gallons. They're just a little too small. They're long and narrow and not very tall. They're just not my size of tank. So really, my personal recommendation for a yellow tang is 75 gallons and up. The whole purpose of setting up the 210-gallon tank was I wanted lots of tangs and fish and lots of coral. So I couldn't just have 2 tangs in a tank. So I waited for a good deal to come up, and I snapped up a purple tang. So one problem you're gonna run into with yellow tangs is if you try to mix them with other tangs of the same genus. Both purple tangs and yellow tangs are of the genus Zebrasoma. Other fish of the same genus as Zebrasoma are your Sailfins, your black tangs, your gem tangs, scopus tangs. Those are all Zebrasomas. So if you try to put a yellow tang and a scopus tang together, you can expect them to fight, at least for a while. So I bought the purple tang, I put it in quarantine because that's always step one, you quarantine your fish. And then I crossed my fingers and everything went fine. Everything was fine for like an entire year. The purple tang, the yellow tang, the blue tang, they were a great little trio. Then one day, my yellow tang decided the purple tang was no longer allowed to eat. Oh my goodness, this was horrible. I tried to catch the fish. I used a fish trap, I couldn't catch the fish. I tried putting food in and scooping them out of the water, I couldn't catch the fish. Finally, I gave up and tore the entire tank down, took all the rock out to catch the yellow tang. And I moved him downstairs to the basement while I came up with a new plan. So one of the tricks about keeping multiple Zebrasomas together is to keep more than one. So if you want a lot of yellow tangs in your tanks, the answer is get 3, 4, 5, something like that. Never get 2. If you get 2, you're just gonna go head to head, fight it out. It's gonna be terrible, at least initially. It can be done, but it's less likely to work. So buy more than 2. So what I did was I put some tangs of different genuses in the tank. I put a flamingi in there, a yellow-eyed coal tang to kind of spread the aggression out. And then I bought some some more tangs. I bought another purple tang. I bought a desertini tang. And the yellow tang was still down there. So when the day finally came, after everybody was quarantined and everybody was ready to go, I waited till night, I turned the lights off, and I put the yellow tang, the desertini, the new purple tang, all in the tank at once. It was nighttime, so they had time to get used to things, and everything was good. Everything was good till morning when the purple tangs went at it. And it was bad until about noon. Afternoon, everything was fine. There was enough other fish in the tank that they really couldn't keep too concentrated on each other. So one thing you gotta remember if you're buying yellow tangs is with aggression. With just about every other fish in my tank, my yellow tangs have been perfect. They don't bother anybody other than other Zebrasomas. So that would be my top tip, is to really look into other Zebrasomas when you're thinking about adding a yellow tang to your tank, and have a plan if you want a more than one Zebrasoma. Then there's all that daily stuff we gotta do to keep the fish happy and healthy. I personally feed my fish New Life Spectrum pellets every day. Any good pellet will do you, but it's high in nutrition. You put it in the water, they'll eat it quickly, they'll do well with it. But tangs are herbivorous in nature, so I like to feed them seaweed. And I actually just buy the sushi party from Walmart, put it in the tank, they eat it up, but there are plenty of good options at your local pet store. They're all going to be about the same. I've been using the sushi party for years, but I've used the Two Little Fishies products. They're all fantastic. But definitely you want to feed a good seaweed. And then I like to round the diet out with a frozen food like rods or LRF. Now this is going to be a mix of like clams and fish and shrimp, and it's all, there's going to be something in there that every fish will like. Now a lot of people call these fish vegetarians. They are not vegetarians, they are omnivores. So they're not just going to eat vegetable matter, they're going to go after the other bits of fish and stuff floating around the water. They're opportunistic, they're going to eat it, and they're going to really thrive on a nice mixed balanced diet. From there, you're going to want a tank that's big enough for them. You want a nice aquascape with lots of swim throughs and hiding places where your fish can hide, go in, go out. And it may sound counterintuitive, but the more hiding places you have, the more your fish is going to come out. If it's got a place that it can quickly dart into, it's going to be more comfortable coming out and swimming around out in the open. It's a really cool thing to watch. They just move through the rock, in and out, and it's beautiful, and it's better for the fish. So your aquascape is also going to be important to keeping your yellow tang happy and healthy. And then we're going to have to talk about water qualities. It's best to keep your nitrates low, phosphates low. Now that's going to be better for the fish, and it's also going to be better for your tank. Your corals aren't going to like high phosphates and high nitrates, and it's going to grow algae, and it's just going to be better. Now one of the bonuses of your yellow tang is it's going to help keep that algae down. When you put that yellow tang in the tank, it's going to spend every day picking at the rocks, eating algae, and it's a really effective grazer on algae. So it really does provide a benefit and do a job for your tank, which I really appreciate. The yellow tang is going to be a fish that is just as good for the beginner as it is for the advanced hobbyist. I can't imagine ever not having a yellow tang in my 210 gallon tank. I absolutely love them. So thank you for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.